What is up? Richard from the Men of the House podcast here. And for those of you who know me, you know that live music has been a staple of my life for a very long time. And I've got stacks of concert ticket stubs in an envelope somewhere. I've been to a lot of shows, and live music is just a way that I get to kind of recharge myself and connect with other people. You know, it's like a sense of unity. And this interview that I am presenting is just that as well. It's me having an opportunity to interview Scart or Scott from the Supervillains, who I've been listening to for almost 20 years. As you'll hear in the interview, I think I probably discovered them on Napster when I was living in South Florida. If they got started in 97, then yeah, I left Florida in 2001 maybe. So yeah, very good chance that I heard them then. Been listening to them ever since, been following them, seen them several times. I can't remember all the times and where, but I do distinctly remember seeing them at Stubbs in 2015, or maybe before then, but it was with Pepper. That I remember. But yeah, we discuss it all, and you know, just a very interesting guy who has survived the music business for this long, and he's a true musician, plays music for a living, every which way, not just with the Supervillains, and he's also into other stuff, such as trapping gators. He's certified, which you'll hear about. So, yeah, super interesting dude. Definitely kind of that central Florida, South Florida kind of thing, and overall interesting guy. And it was super exciting for me and thrilling to kind of get to interview somebody that you've been listening to their music for 20 years. So thank you, Scart, and I hope you guys enjoy. Hey, go. Asteroid of Fear. Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of the Men of the House podcast, and on today's episode, we have Scart, or Scott, from the Supervillains, and I'm super stoked because I have been listening to you guys for I don't know how long, but I just saw you guys last weekend, and the last time I'd seen you was at Stubbs, which, I don't even remember what that was, but we left there in 2015, so I know it's been at least that many years. And I'm like trying to think of when I actually ran across you guys for the first time, but you guys have been around for a hot minute. When did you guys form?
97.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I'm tracking now. I was in the Florida area around then, and I'm trying to think if so it wouldn't have been impossible, and it would be plausible that I actually found you guys on Napster. Maybe resin.
Definitely. I remember, now we're dating ourselves, but yeah, I remember when that came out and we were losing money and stuff, and everybody had our stuff, which to me it was kind of like promotion. It was like, well, if they like us enough where they're going online to steal it, at least we're kind of popular and it gets the music out there. Like, we're not making any money out of it, but we didn't foresee the future. We're like, you get like a half of a half of a half of a half of a penny on a stream.
Yeah.
Napster is probably going to make more money for you than streaming now.
All right. Well, let's start from the beginning. So, you guys are located in Central Florida, but is that where you grew up?
Me and Dom grew up in St. Cloud, which is
Okay.
we're just a little bit south of Orlando. I still live across the lake from it. I've lived on a creek my whole life, 46 years. And Dom actually lives in Port Orange now. We're all spread around the state. BJ's up in Paisley, and a couple guys are downtown, and but like we're all kind of loosely based around Central Florida. But yeah,
Yeah.
we started in St. Cloud. We were 16, 17. I've known Dom since first grade.
So
But
the
like,
dude I brought to the show, we sat next to each other in first grade. We're both going to be 50 this year.
yeah,
And so we've been friends for that long,
it's
and
wild, ain't
we've
it?
played together. And he actually met me at the show. He hadn't been out in a while, and he's like, "Dude, I'll meet you there." So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, man, that is cool.
So yeah, you said you've known him since the first grade, and so when did you pick up guitar, get introduced into that? Because I know like with Andrew and myself, my best friend, we were like doubles partners. We were in junior high band together. And then naturally, at some point in time, like he had played drums, but he's proficient like at bass, guitar, all of it. And we would actually, play around together back in the day. And but how did you guys get into it? How did music start off for you?
I started playing in '86. I was 6 years old. Um,
Wow.
yeah, so I by the time I was in, see, I knew Don from elementary school. I went to a different middle school, so
Mm-hmm.
I went to middle school. I was in jazz band. I played the bass. I played the guitar.
Oh.
So by the time I was in like high school, I was like kind of like hot shit, Mr. 14-year-old guitar player and crap. And he'd been playing drums in middle school, and we were in band program, and like every time we go on break, me and him would just like start diddling around and stuff. And we ended up like we should be in a band. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And just kind of like started from there. And we started writing our own stuff, and we actually caught fire real early. And by the time we just got out of high school, we were like selling out House of Blues and hard rock, and it was pretty cool because nobody even like the older guys and the veterans had never done that,
Yeah.
and we were just young and hungry, and that we've carried that for the rest of our years because in Florida we're like a legacy act. It was like
Yeah.
our people's fans kids listen to us and their kids. It's crazy.
So, as you guys are you said you were in jazz band, and what were you guys, we're not far from the same age. So what
Right.
were you guys listening to kind of growing up? Like, for me, it was like typical 90s. Like I can remember, having Master of Puppets on cassette. My first show in 93 was Metallica opening for Guns N' Roses with Faith No More as the opener. And so what were you guys listening to?
Well,
Because how did you land on the Supervillain sound?
Well, we started out like just playing like what everybody plays. Like we were playing like Korn and Rage Against the Machine and crap like that. And then we got Operation Ivy record, and we were like, this is the truth. Like these guys are awesome. Like we should sound like this.
Hmm.
And then Dead Kennedys like right after that, and then like you know we took that and we kind of ran with it. And I remember the first time we were laying down a studio track, we heard we were at a record store and recording, and our bass player at the time, rest his soul, got a Mad Caddy's quality softcore record. So
Hmm.
we were coming back from the studio and we're listening to Mad Caddy's first record. We're like, this is it. This is like the groove that we need to be into. And Mad Caddies are some of our best buddies to this very day. My best friend plays bass for it, and I'm godfather of his kids, and like we've toured with those guys a lot. And but you know, the first thing I think that kind of changed everything was the second or first full length we were in a studio, and this guy's like, this engineer's like, you guys sound like Mr. Bungle. I'm like, Mr. Who? And he's like, Mr. Bungle.
Yeah.
He put a Bungle CD in. I'm like, what is this? I knew it was over. It
My
was,
buddy Andrew is the one who introduced me to Mr. Bungle
yeah, man.
because
And like,
I wasn't like hard into Faith No More. They had the song, but it was Mr. Bungle that actually was more addictive to me than that because too I was kind of into, I my parents were kind of hippie-ish, and
yeah,
so
so am I.
they didn't have any rules like, oh, you can't 9 years old. I'm watching Cheech and Chong and whatnot.
Same here, yeah.
And so I was already tracking Voodoo Glow Skulls, Dead Kennedys, all that
Yeah.
stuff in the early 90s. And that sound, because I'm kind of like, man, I'm trying to think of the first time I really like heard that kind of sound, the ska music. Um, but so whenever you heard Mr. Bungle, so that was kind of like that, the Mad Caddies, you guys are like, did you have horns and stuff at the time, or were you just guys
We
doing
had
like a
too many horns. Actually, like the whole band was horns, man. Because we were in like I said, we were in band programs. So we're like, well, we got a guitar player, we got a drummer, we got a bass player, and like everybody, all of the horns people were like, we play horns. We're like, that's dumb. We never heard that. Then like we heard like a real big fish out. I'm like, oh, I guess you can get away with this. And
yeah.
then the bungle stuff was like, you can really get away with this. Like you can like cuss and like make your own like rock operas and do stuff like that. And I'm like, this is fun, you know. We just started going from there, like with our influences, especially definitely Voodoo Glow Skulls, you know.
Yeah. What were you playing at the time? You said you had all of it. Did you start off playing guitar like in the band as the guitarist, or have you rotated your way through instruments, or
I
how
was
did that
always
work?
I was always the guitarist. We needed a singer, and like we tried out a few dudes, and it just wasn't right. And I remember just saying one day, I'm like, look, man, I mean, I'll sing it. Like,
Yeah.
and so that just it kind of went from there. Man, I'm like, I listened to like some of our baby recordings, and I was like Dickie Beardy and the whole like,
Yeah.
Dom's like, don't sound like that. It doesn't sound like you. He's like, sing like you. And I'm like, all right. And that's now come like when you hear a lot of me singing, you can just basically hear my voice because I try to be myself.
Yeah, I can't remember, kind of going back and the way music has progressed is, like I said, hearing you guys from Napster and before I ever saw you guys, it's like never knowing uh who was singing until I was actually able to visually go, "Oh shit, the drummer's singing too." Um and then going back and picking them out. But one of my favorite bands, I want to ask if you've ever heard of them. 97's Warped Tour, Pompano Beach. We rolled up to this stage because it was the only place there was shade, and that's what determined what band we were going to listen to. But out of band from Sacramento came called Filibuster,
Oh yeah.
dude, and they
They were on
fucking
Skunk Records.
yes, dude, they fucking blew me away. And then I was living in Boca at that time, and I can remember driving up to Orlando to see them and getting to hang with them, smoke them out. And this was back in the day. And it's funny because I was thinking of the song "Crippy Weed," and
Yeah.
living in South Florida, it was like, okay, are you getting Reggie's? Are you getting the Kryptonic pleasures? I can remember it being called Crippy down there.
Crippy was the word. It was actually a strain. And if like if you come correct and like this is
Uh
Crippy,
huh.
I never told you at that time. But that's what people always said. It's creepy. That's creepy weed, man. It creeps
Yeah.
up on you. Creepy weed.
Yeah. And dude, we went up and we almost fucking missed Filibuster because we were at the bar across the street waiting for him to go on. And I can't even remember what happened, but my buddy stepped outside. I would have thought like they were the openers, but I mean the headliners, but they were actually opening, I think. And we went over there and it was the fucking best time. And then yeah, I took a jar of Crippy weed in there and I was like, "You guys want to smoke?" And they're like, "Well, I don't know if that's enough to get us all high." And I'm like, "It is. Trust me."
Yeah, man.
Dude, and it went around. I went back
Well,
home
shit.
with some and I slept the whole way. My roommate at the time, he didn't smoke. And so he drove us back from Orlando to Boca. We made it like it was a damn day trip for us, but I was in my young 20s, so that was kind of par for the course was I think I was working at Chili's or actually a steak and seafood house at that time and just playing guitar with friends from the kitchen at night, that kind of stuff and going to Warp Tour seeing shit like that. But yeah, man, Filibuster, the first time I ever saw like a horn player playing plus singing, I was just fucking blown away, man.
That's crazy. I saw Sublime in '95 at the Groove Tube in
Ooh.
Melbourne, and there might have been 100 people there. Might have been, and they're like playing outside of Groove Tube, which is like a clothing shop. It's on the beach. It's like a
Mm-hmm.
record shop. Get stickers there for your surfboards and stuff. Anyway, I saw Sublime and I was like, man, this is really cool. I didn't really completely get it at the time. This is before even like the Mr. Bungle and stuff happened.
Mm-hmm.
But like that is really kind of think our first exposure to that. And then later on that I actually talked to Brad at the merch table and like for like 3 or 4 minutes and said you guys are really good and I've never heard anything like that. It's cool. He's like thanks, and then a few months later he died and the Long Beach Dub All Stars kind of carried on the flag for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And when I went and saw them for the first time, they had Filibuster opening for them. So
Oh.
so it was really cool. That was at the House of Blues. But yeah, man, that was a really good time. Those guys were, they're still going. I just hung out with Long Beach, about a month or two ago. I took them on an airboat shooting some gators.
Oh wow. Cool.
Yeah.
So you said you guys you came out of high school actually crushing it. Were did you guys go on tour? What was kind of the path in the early days? Because music has changed since starting in the 90s to the 2000s and to where we are now.
I mean, I think it's just a natural progression. We started like we got really big at home real quick, and then we
Mm-hmm.
just kind of like it looks good in your e-pack and all that stuff. So, we branched out, started like just booking our own shows outside of town, like everybody does. Like after we were trying to get out, we hooked up with the Toasters in like 2002 or 2003,
Mm-hmm.
and Bucket really showed us what's up and how to tour and how to be smart with it and like how to manage yourselves and all that stuff, and it's pretty cool. But before that, we were just like touring with like local bands like the Spit Valves and the Skiff Tank, and
Mm-hmm.
those guys are actually reuniting at our hurricane party in Sanford in a couple weeks.
Oh wow. So
I think Spit Valves have played like 11 or 12 years, and same thing with Skiff Tank.
oh man.
So like all the Orlando people are freaking out about it, and like, yeah, it's gonna be like a '90s show.
Dude, I was stationed in Orlando. That's where I went to boot camp.
Oh,
Stationed there for a while. I think I saw Soundgarden there, Green
oh,
Day at the
sweet.
at the Edge.
Oh yeah, the
Yeah.
Edge was bad.
Yeah. Reverend Horton Heat, I think, opened for Soundgarden one time. But and then when I lived in Boca, Fort Lauderdale had the Edge as well that had a lot of shows like I saw the Toadies there. I would see all
I was about to
kinds of
say I saw
shows.
the Toadies at the Edge, and it was probably the same tour.
97, he had the blonde
Yep,
hair. Yep.
exactly. Yeah, man.
Yeah, that's where I was rolling about that time.
The Toadies just dropped a new album like this week.
Oh, I gotta listen to it, man. When they
They've
did
got like
the
8, 9 albums online.
dude, when they
Two,
did,
two, two live records and an EP. I just found this all out.
oh, yeah, I haven't seen them since then. But when he did the Burden Brothers, they actually came through where we live in Tyler
Right.
and played this small show with like a ska band out of Albuquerque, New Mexico. I cannot remember who they were.
Elevated Roots.
No, but man, the name it sounds familiar. But they drove like a little Volkswagen bus or something, and they were actually pretty good. And I cannot remember what the fuck their name is. I have their CD somewhere, which would be converted to an iPod, which has I don't know if it still works, if it's still around, but I'd love to get like the 10,000 songs off of that,
Yeah.
because I mean I have so much music kind of from that era. And back in the day, it was people had their EPs, or you throw a guy a tip and you get five songs. I can even remember my wife and I going to San Francisco. We saw this dude Sam Johnson playing in a bar, and he had his CDs out, and that was in 2013, and he kind of plays local in the San Francisco and the Bay Area, does private events and stuff like that. But he started off kind of as a busker, playing on the street, Fisherman's Wharf,
Yep.
playing in bars,
Yep.
and he's still kind of doing it. And I really think it's kind of cool because the formula of how you made it as a band, I think way back in the 90s, early 2000s, and then kind of now, it's just changed so much. And when I look back just thinking, oh man, I saw you guys at least 11 years ago, so you guys have been around a minute. You guys have kind of gotten to go through all the different phases of music, and
Sure.
and I love seeing that you guys are still fucking doing it. That's kind of the thing. You're not having to compromise in a way. You have your local thing, but then you're still out there on the road doing it.
Yeah, I mean, we go out right now. Gas is so expensive. You can't
Dude,
tour. I
dude,
mean,
I'm telling you, even as an Uber guy, I saw it was like 419 was the cheapest somewhere. I'm like, that's fucking crazy.
yeah, I mean, right now, from the difference between the last 2 months, if you were doing your gas budget 2 years ago, that's your hard budget. Now, I mean, like for 4.59 a gallon, I mean, if you add up your gas budget going around a national tour, all the extra money you're spending on gas could have been spent on. I did the math the other day. A merch guy, a sound tech, and a stage tech. So just for the money that you're burning in gas, you could have those three additional people riding with you. So it's like we're bare bones in it.
Yeah. When you guys, so I know you guys have y'all had the camper when y'all were at Stubbs, the little ride around or
Right.
whatever. Are you
We
guys
have
still
like six. We have like six RVs.
okay? That's what I was kind of curious. Now, did you guys start off in one? Did you start off in a van?
We
When
were in vans, cars, then vans, and then stepped. We finally got when we started going like doing nationals. We had to get an RV because it was just we were out for so long. We needed a house.
Yeah, because it's I know like from talking to Kyle Smith, he's like, what is it? You get done with the show, it might be by the time you load up and everything, maybe you crash on someone's floor, 2 or 3 in the morning till like 8 in the morning, and then
We
you're
we
up and
weren't
you got
into
a six,
that,
seven
and
hour drive.
we were never into that. Like that was fun. Like at the very beginning, we're like, yeah, we'll sleep on your floor. Like this is not a workable business model.
Yeah,
So we're like, why don't we just eat it and get one of those RV things, clear everything out of it, make bunks in it, and then we can all just like go back. Like when we first like our first RV experience, like after we like we rented some a few times, but then like when we bought our own and we could actually do what we wanted to do with it, that was like a game changer because then like okay, we can go back and sleep in my own bunk and it's my funk in the bunk,
yeah,
like it's somebody's crusty ass house floor,
yeah, dude, that's like the Navy, like when on submarines when they fucking hot rack, like you're swapping out your 6 or 8 hour shift with somebody else. you know? Um, so I guess for you guys, it was decided early on, like, boom, y'all are making this a business and y'all are going to invest in it. And
Honestly, if we didn't sell out like the House of Blues early and like get that taste of like rock stardom and how it
hmm
is to actually like do that, like playing for like 1,500 people, and they're all like there for you, I don't think we'd be here. But like we just loved it. And we were just like, if we do this everywhere, it'd be awesome. A good example of progression is in like 2000 or 2001, I do believe, was the first time we met Pepper, and they were a
hmm
Napster band, and then we played with them out in Melbourne. And the second time they came around, they were in a Volcom's RV. And we're like, man, that's really cool. They like, us, we were like, that's as good as it gets. And like, then the next time they came around, they were at the House of Blues in like '05 or '06, and they were in a tour bus. And like, we like went backstage and got on their bus. We're like, what are you guys doing right that we're not? And they're like, I remember Kaleo and somebody came in the RV. He's like, Kaleo, your guitar's ready. You guys got to go on stage in 5 minutes. I'm like, you guys better get on stage. You guys got to go on stage. Who's that? He's like, that was my guitar tech. I'm like, what's a guitar tech? He's like, Skirt, when you guys get roadies, you're going to freaking lose it. He's like, and I remember they just walked out their bus and walked on stage. I've never seen that, like from
yeah,
behind the scenes. I was like, holy crap, here I am sitting at my own gear, busting my own ass. I'm like, these guys are in a tour bus. And we were like, we're about to sign to this one record label. I won't say who. And he's like, let me hear the record. And they heard the record. They're like, we're going to open up a record label and sign you. And that's how Law Records started for them. And they signed Grow Your Own.
okay, that's
So
awesome.
and then they signed Pacifier, and then they had a roster, and then we put out Massive on them, and yeah, man, it was just kind of like like the natural progression. We're just watching. We're just taking cues from the people that were, above us, and just like,
Hmm.
okay, this is the way, and they're, that's how we got taught.
Yeah. And what what has been like one of your favorite tours that you've gone on and why?
Fishbone every time.
And why is that?
They're they're just they're the best live band on the planet. And I don't say that like in jest. I do believe, and if you've ever watched the Fishbone documentary, those guys were destined to be the best band on the planet. And inner struggles and turmoils and stuff really
Hmm.
messed them up. I've seen probably like three different iterations of Fishbone as a band. I just saw them again on my birthday the other day, and they're they're still flawless. Angelo Moore to me is like he's like James Brown and Michael Jackson if you could just put them up together, and then some. Like they're just they're we always said about Angelo, like that guy right there, man. Like the world is his canvas. Like that
Yeah.
guy never gets off stage. He is the genuine article. He is who he is, and that we took a lot of that. Like they didn't care what they sounded like. They had the craziest music in the world, and we were just like every night it was like as fast as I could get my stuff rolled up. And anytime we threw them, I got to get my shit out of the way. Because and Angelo, as soon as I get done, I turn around, Angelo would be behind me like, hey, hey. And he
Hmm.
grabbed my microphone and he just started going into the Dr. Mad vibe stuff. Like, there I was, disgusting piece of monkey doo doo and all this stuff. Like, just goes on this rant. And he's talking about it for 15 minutes. You're sitting there like, what in the fuck is this guy talking about? And at the very end of it, he kind of wrap it all up and it would all make sense. And I'm like, that's amazing. And I figured out every night it was something different. It's on
Oh
the top
wow.
of his head. And like, I'm like, these guys are just genius level musicians and just insane poets and performers. And like, man, like I would be talking to their crew and be like, Luigi was like the guy who'd sit there and he'd have to feed Angelo like 100 miles or 100 feet of microphone cable because Angelo would be halfway back in the top of the crowd and Luigi's like reeling it back in. I didn't figure out to like the end of the tour that he's like the bass player for Suicidal Tendencies and
Oh
stuff.
wow.
Yeah, like their guitar player Rocky George is the guitar player for
Yeah.
Suicidal Tendencies. I'm like, we're walking around with rock stars right now. But like we're on first name basis with them. So like to us was like the coolest thing in the world. I think well the coolest thing about them though, like when you meet them, like it's first and last names. It's like, hi, Angelo Moore, hi, Fish Fisher, hi, Rocky George, hey, what's up, Dre Gibson? Like
Yeah.
it's a very professional thing because they're gonna make you remember their name because they're bad.
Ah.
I've just seen so many things with that band. Like just I've seen Angelo do so many crazy fucking things. Like I I can never imagine like being their tour manager or
And
something like
talking
that.
to him, like trying to, I guess you as a musician and trying to, uh, absorb some of that, how they keep the spirit of it, of performing, of the authenticity of, hey, sometimes it's the same song every night or variations or whatever, but were they one of the bands that kind of gave you that, like for me, live music, that's one of my refreshers, going to see you guys, that was like what
It's the only
charges
way to
me
judge a
up.
band. It's the only way to judge them is see them live.
Yeah. And so they gave you that feeling that I must get when I see bands. And did you ask them like what how do you stay in the pocket like for the love of it?
Honestly, those guys are such like legends to us. Like we don't speak unless we're spoken to with those guys.
Mm,
Like we're like, oh my god, 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 Fishbone. Like
yeah.
every night. It's still to this day. And like I said, I went and saw him the other day. I'm still, it was thinking about Angelo. He's got like the shortest memory. Like every
Hmm.
time I told my friends I was in there, like I've probably played 50 shows with this band. I'm like, I will have to introduce myself again tonight. Like, hey, what's
Yeah.
up, man? Scott Solid of Supervillains.
Who
Hey, man. Oh yeah, 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 yeah. That one time. I'm like, yeah, the 50 times. But yeah, that's cool.
the one time, no, the 50.
I'm like, at least I'm in there somewhere,
Yeah, did who taught you the most about touring?
Pepper probably. Pepper's slightly stupid. Like I said, the toasters earlier on, just how to pinch pennies, and then like we got it with with Pepper, those guys were getting big every night. Or the first national tour we did with Pepper, I remember their tour manager and coach at the time. He's like, "Scart, stop asking if the show's sold out. They're all sold out." I'm like, "Oh, that's cool." So like, you just get used to it every day. Like, then you get swagger. You're like, "Yeah, I get to go in front of a sold out crowd tonight every fucking night," and that allowed us to really like get a hold of ourselves
Yeah.
and expand ourselves and all that stuff. But I mean, definitely with those guys, seeing their natural progression, we're like the first show we played with them, there's like 11 people in number to like flash forward like a few years later, and they were just it. After Sublime left that void, it was really like us and Pepper and Stupid were like the only ones really doing it like nationally. It was basically Pepper and Stupid, and then we got invited into the Ring of
Hmm.
Honor, and we got to enjoy all that stuff. So you know, I would I would say it's just definitely by watching your peers and just asking questions.
What do you I know there's a lot of moving pieces, but when you're on the road, what kind of fuel, what's the most important thing that actually, let's say, fuels the trip or the tour fund? Like I know you guys have merch, like you were talking about earlier, the gas fund. I know if I can, I like to do VIPs because I know that that goes towards whatever it needs to go
Sure.
to. How do you break down what's the order of importance? What do you look at first? I know you said ticket sales, this,
I
that, the
mean,
other.
you got to get your guarantee first and foremost because yeah, that's how you set your budget. I mean, you want to you do your budget. You're like, okay, to make it work, we got to sell X amount of merchandise. That's why you saw me at the merch table because
Yeah.
this day I'm back there hustling. Because I mean, not because I have to. I want to. I like to meet you. I've met you
Yeah.
at the show, and I hung out with you all night because like I enjoy that. If you came and spent your money to come see us, I'm just sit out there and be as available as I can.
Yeah. Yeah. Which I thought was super cool. I mean, that's,
we were
yeah.
we were taught that from an early age, like to always be back there and be with the crowd. Don't be like some dumbass over there sniffing your own farts and tour bus as soon as you get off. Like yeah, I mean, get back there and be with
Uh,
the people. And that's why I love support, being like direct support, because then while the headliner's up there, anybody that comes back there is like, oh, you just got off stage and all this stuff. You can actually interact with people in a cool environment.
yeah. Um, what's your favorite place you've played?
Our second home's St. Thomas, so it's like I would naturally just go St. Thomas, but like I don't know, Janice Live over in St. Pete's really awesome.
Hmm.
For the We did a show. We were out. It was us, Pepper, and Mad Caddies in like '07, and we started this thing called a Brodeo, where at the end of the night,
Hmm.
we're like, what if we all go up there and play a song for Pepper's encore, like all three bands? And then everything at that time, after we started doing it, all the bands caught on and started doing their own Brodeos, and but we were the original Brodeo, and the song that we did was "Eat the Meat" by No Effects.
Oh yeah.
So like we would have like the Mad Caddies horn players out there, our bass player playing
Hmm.
bass, like everybody have like percussion instruments. Dom and Chuck from Mad Caddies would sing the song. Pepper would just be out there going, "Whoa, whoa,"
Hmm.
like doing Pepper stuff. And so the coolest show, we're this is like MySpace days, so people were just getting camera phones. They're putting it online on
Hmm.
MySpace, and of the Brodeo of Eat the Meek, and like some of it was like, "Why can't we stay where we don't belong?" Having the whole crowd sing it, and I noticed when we got to San Francisco one night, I looked on a Mad Caddy's guest list, and Mike Burkett was on there, Fat
Hmm.
Mike. I was like, "Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, Fat Mike's gonna be here," and I didn't know that like Pepper and I knew that Mad Caddies was on Fat Wreck,
Yeah.
but like I didn't know that they were all like buddies like that. So like I walked backstage halfway through the show, and there's Fat Mike hanging out with everybody. So I just like fly on the wall, kind of just like, wow, this is so cool. Fat Mike's there, and someone I asked him a question. I was like, man, did you get mad at us for playing your song for like the last 30 nights or something? I was like, like we were playing it the whole tour, all stuff. He's like, mad. He's like, I'm touched that you guys would play our song like that. He's like, and doing it every night. He's like, that's great for us. I'm like, man, Fat Mike's a real dude. And then at the end of the night, and this was at the Fillmore in San Francisco, the
Hmm.
real Fillmore, the original
Yeah.
Fillmore. And we were already just like blown away like that we got to play the Fillmore. And so like I remember for the Brody, it was like, all right, at the end of the night, Pepper was like, let's bring up the Mad Caddy and Supervillains. We got to play this one song. And hey, there's Fat Mike, and Fat Mike comes out playing bass. So he's playing bass to it. And there's a video on it. Maybe I can dig it up for you offline and I'll
Man.
send it to you. But it was like all three of us bands and Fat Mike at the Fillmore. It was nuts. It was that at that point was like anything is possible. Like
Yeah,
anything, everything is possible. To me, that was as good as it gets. I was like,
I could
that's
imagine. Yeah, yeah, that's one of those things of like I guess amongst your peers, you know? And yeah, I got goosebumps like thinking about it. San Francisco is where my wife and I went on our honeymoon in 2013. It wasn't quite what it is now, but it's just such a great city, like for walking,
yeah, for
Alcatraz,
sure.
the Golden Gate. It's kind of one of those
People watching.
places. Yeah, yeah, historical, like from a historical point of view, so many great things. And we didn't. That's yeah. Well, that's where we saw Sam Johnson, and it's kind of cool because one of his songs, they have this song, it's called "Always Be Together," and
Oh yeah,
my wife and I, we quote that. That's kind of our song. I actually have it on my playlist, but you can't actually get it anymore onto the playlist. It won't even let me share it to my wife. But man, yeah, that was kind of one of those things. And I know he's from Southern California, I think Huntington Beach. And somebody asked him, they were like, oh, you kind of sound like Sublime. He's like, well, where I'm from, if you don't like Sublime, they kind of kick you out,
yeah.
you know?
Okay.
But yeah, I saw the Mad Caddies with Ballyhoo. That was the last time I saw Ballyhoo was,
I flew up to Philly to go see that show on John's birthday on Ghazi, their bass player. He's our best friend in the world. He's from St. Thomas.
yeah.
Yeah. I call him my little brother because we're basically brothers. And I talk. He's in Europe. And I just talked to him a minute ago. I'll talk to him every day. But
Wow.
you know Beebs, right?
And the
Me and
Moneymakers?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Beebs. Me and Beebs are the godfather and godmother to his two kids.
Oh,
And like,
wow.
yeah. So she like runs a lot of Warp Tour and stuff.
Okay. Wow, I didn't
Beebs
know
is
that.
awesome. I love you, Beebs.
Yeah, see, I'm getting kind of like I started I have this playlist and it's got everything from Beebs and the Moneymakers, Article Sound System,
Yeah.
Vanillaya, all those in that same circle. But yeah, I love, living in South Florida in Boca back in the 90s, we used to have the surf club and they had reggae night every Wednesday.
Right.
And I can remember that and in that Sublime time kind of a thing, kind of when that sound started, and to kind of see how it's just so many, it's blown up, you know, and I actually get surprised when people haven't heard of like kind of this genre of music in a way. But to me, I find it to be like the ultimate love genre in terms of the fans, the people, the bands, community. Much different than, I guess Swifties are probably a collective of some sort.
I had to educate a guy last night. He's playing pedal steel on my solo record, and he's like 74, 75. I went to go recruit this guy for the record last night.
Uh-huh.
So I played him some of the stuff on my solo record. It's a country record. It's like old bluegrass
Okay.
stuff. And which I grew up playing. That's how I started playing. But anyway, I was like, showed him like, listen, like here's a bluegrass. I'm like, and here's my band. So like, I let him listen to the Drones album. He was like, this is all over the place. I'm like, well, it's a concept record. And this is like part two of the concept
Yeah.
album. Like, I'm working on part three right now. But I was like, so I played him that. And then I like played him like the more reggae stuff. And I was like, kind of like sounds like Sublimey, kind of like, punk rockish and stuff. 'Cause I'm like, but we're basically a ska band. And he had never heard the word ska or Sublime or anything. He's just old, he's an old guy. So it was kind of, he was educating me as
Yeah.
I got to educate him, which is really cool.
Dude,
He was showing me all about the pedal steel and all this stuff. I was like, man, you're so good.
I worked at a music store and we had a pedal steel. His name was Jody. That wasn't his real name, but he was nicknamed after a famous steel guitar player named Jody. And he
Oh,
was in his 70s. This was in 2001. So I'm sure he's gone by now, but he was like, I guess at the top of the line in Nashville as terms of steel pedal players and whatnot
Yeah,
at one time. And at that time he had it was interesting to kind of pick his brain. And this is 99, 2000, 2001, seeing the way kind of country music worked versus the way rock and roll worked. And like if you're a country artist, you move to Nashville, you get a day job, you practice at the Opry and hope somebody brings you on tour or
right.
whatever as a hired gun. And you know I didn't even at the time kind of know that there was like the concept of hired guns in a way in studio musicians. I thought people just
Well,
kind of formed.
look around and seeing right now. It's all you got.
Yeah, I thought people just formed bands and stuff, and that's kind of what it was. But now it's like as it's progressed, it's been
It's like an arms race, dude.
yeah. And then what?
It's getting to that point.
Somebody said what was it? Chris Stapleton? He wasn't even like a musician. He was just a songwriter who wrote songs for
Like,
people at one point
you
in
ever heard
time.
Stapleton play the national anthem at the Super Bowl?
Uh-uh.
That's the all-time best anthem I've ever heard.
Oh
The way
wow.
he played it with his guitar, because I've tried to play chords behind it. It's just a really difficult song to orchestrate. And man, the way that he did it, I was like, oh wow, he actually went there and did it. And he didn't just do it; he sent it to college, man. It was
Mm.
so good.
So what you said you were doing some country. You started off playing folk or bluegrass and
I started playing Hank Williams and Johnny Cash and Merle Haggard because I'm from Kissimmee, it was a cow town. So
mm-hmm.
where I was taking lessons at, it was basically like, okay, go pull a book off the wall. Let's play the songs in it. So it's like the books were like I said, like Hank Williams, Johnny Cash, Merle
Mm-hmm.
Haggard, all that stuff. So like that's how I got my chops. That because I'm from Kissimmee.
Yeah.
That's pretty much the going thing around here.
Well,
And
even down south, it's kind of like people don't realize like Hollywood, Florida. I never
yeah,
was into blues until when I lived in Boca. I took a music class, and what the music teacher was the drummer for a Knuckle Busters blues band. And Joel Da Silva, oh man, Hepcat Boo Daddies used to play at the Poorhouse all the time in Fort Lauderdale,
right.
and Felix and the Cats. And I was like seeing these blues guys and then kind of traveling more towards the Everglades and going to blues festivals. I was like, I mean, I saw Winter, Edgar Winter, BB King, Johnny
Sure.
Lang, and I was like, that was kind of my first taste of blues. And when I'd heard of Jimi Hendrix, but one of the chefs I worked with introduced me to Stevie Ray Vaughan.
Yep.
And that's kind of where I was
That's the
like,
gold standard right there.
yeah, and I was like, even though I grew up listening to like ZZ Top, Foghat, and stuff, because my parents were kind of hippie-ish,
And here,
and
yeah.
then went into junior high was I was listening to Cypress Hill stuff like that, probably the Toadies, all that, but I never really like blues. You have to be able to play no fucking effect pedals.
Nope.
It's all about you and the soul.
Yep.
And I would
And
say,
that's exactly where I took my stuff. Like I said, it's jazz band. Like I was playing blues solos because at that point I'd
hmm
been taking lessons for like freaking 8 or 9 years. So I like just progressed up from country music to rock music, and I was just like, listen, like Pearl Jam, like they're all very blues oriented.
hmm
And like the whole time, as a guitar player, you listen to guitar players. I got into Stevie Ray,
right.
so like I learned every single note of like Little Wing and all this stuff. And my dad would take me around to blues bars and be like have to like escort me because I'm 15 years old and
Yeah.
stuff, like the junkyard and watching these guys. I'm like, man, that's what I got to do. But like, I grew up around that. If you saw me play the other day, like, I I always look at musicians and I look at how they play. And if you're like some dude playing reggae and you've got 15 effects pedals and you're just cowering behind it because you don't actually have the chops to fucking play your instrument, I just look at those guys like stick my nose up. I'm like, I have a tuner pedal and a distortion pedal
Yeah.
because what you hear is what you get. I'm sure I could go out and make effects and make it all sound better, but it's not. I'm analog. It's not in my DNA. I didn't grow up with effects pedals. I didn't grow up doing that. I was made to learn how to play the guitar. So
Yeah. I was so thankful for that period in my life, and people.
I wish kids now like had that same kind of discipline.
Yeah. Oh man, dude, I'm telling you, this guy I used to play with, he was our sous chef. He was from Hawaii. his brother took Eddie Vedder like windsurfing because they're from the
Huh.
islands, and but he could play. Man, I don't know. I forget what it's in, like a open E tuning or something, and it's an
Oh
Allman
yeah,
Brothers song. He he was just yeah, this Hawaiian dude didn't it just played for fun, but he was incredible, and that's what I kind of noticed was what I took away because my roommate at the time he was in a band and they played what do you call it shoegazing type music, and
like Depeche Mode.
his favorite band was U2, and I fucking did not
Exactly.
like U2, and
Depeche
I was
Mode.
like I was like the only U2 song when I left my girlfriend and moved back to Texas, It's a Beautiful Day was came on as I was coming across Pensacola. I was like, okay, I'll take that for U2. But outside of that, no fucking U2 for me. I was
That's funny
into
you bring up you too. There's a sound guy in town, and like I was talking to Wayne, he's like, man, I had to fucking run sound for you two the other night. You know how fucked up that is? I'm like, tell me about it. He goes out to the stadium. He goes, the Edge. Like I don't know his real name. He's like, but I have to call it the Edge.
yeah.
He's like, he had a 64 track whatever. He's playing through 64 tracks of digital delay. He's like,
Wow.
just for his digital delay, he has 64 tracks. He's like, this fucking asshole.
Y-
Like,
Yeah, dude, because I never realized too, and we saw Cashed Out at Granada, and they had a sound guy. Um I was with my friend
they bring
Alex, who
their
I was
own
with.
stuff.
Dude, and I didn't realize the amount of shit that guy actually did was his own song and dance there with the keys lit up and whatnot. And I was like, it was the first time I'd ever kind of seen that and was like, oh, wow, there's a whole thing going on here. And there's, different levels, like, um, but I love it all from the raw to they have like their system and you see people. But yeah, I know. Doesn't Howie do all the shit for Ballyhoo, like the lights and
He
stuff
does
like
the
that?
lights and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So, I saw the elevators. They had a big light show. Of course, it was a bigger venue. Um, that was good.
I'm just happy if my guitar works, dude. Like I see those guys doing that stuff. I'm like, man, that must take a long time. I mean, it looks cool. I'm like, but I'm
Yeah,
just, I just want to make sure my guitar's in tune. I got strings and shit.
yeah. Actually, speaking of strings and in tune, when I'm listening here to Take Care of Business, and when I broke a string on my own guitar, that bend. I
Yeah,
fucking love that. I was like, oh, when I
yeah.
hear that every time, I'm like, that's what seeing you guys last week caused me to go back and listen and just reappreciate um something, because I have some favorites on the playlist, but kind of going back and going some that I missed that I saw you guys play live. Because I don't think I ever saw you guys for that album. I think the
What's that?
last,
Ice Banks?
yeah.
Yeah.
So I think the last album, the last time I saw you guys was probably Massive.
Oh, yeah. We get that a lot. We're like,
Yeah.
why don't you play stuff off Massive? I'm like, well, we've had like, I don't know, like 6 albums after that, a couple
Yeah.
EPs, step records.
But the one with Bermuda High, um, Nice
Yeah,
Things, dude.
that's nice things.
Yeah. I was like going back listening to that. I'm like, man, it's got some really fucking good music on it. And had to re-add a bunch of shit. I'm like, all right, this is going on the playlist long term.
Nice.
But what do you do? So what's it like in between touring? What do you guys do? Like day jobs? Are you playing? I know I see
I'm,
like some of your
I
stuff you
play
play.
music. I 100% play music.
Okay. So like solo stuff you do.
I got a show tonight at like I don't know. I got to be there at like 4. So
How does that differ from what
it's
kind
all
of
country.
the
It's like
style of
country
music?
music. I don't actually. I don't mean to say it like that. I read the room, and I'm playing downtown Kissimmee tonight. So the room's going to be like older people. So I'm going to play like some Hank Williams and some David Allan Coe. I can stick my own stuff in there, but like I like to play what people like to hear. So I mean, and I play some really obscure shit. I'll play like a lot of Harry Nilsson and like
Mm-hmm.
Just some weird stuff. I play a lot of toadies.
How do you like that? Like what do you like being a musician full time as opposed to like let's say having a day job? Like do you still get enjoyment like let's say maybe from learning a song that you're going to play at a bar in Kissimmee?
Absolutely. I mean, that's I love to play music. I can't. I'm addicted to it. I've been doing it since I was a little kid. It's pretty much all I know. And that fishing, but, uh, but
Yeah. Um,
it's like the other day I was like, I've been playing this Toady song. I've been playing Possum Kingdom for years, and I was like, what's that chord that they're using that I just can't nail? It's like the sound of it. Like on every record, they have that same sound. It's just such a cool chord. Like it's a seventh. I'm like, I'm playing a ninth. I'm playing it all wrong. So I dug up the tab and I checked it out. I'm like, turn, turn.
yeah,
I'm like, that's it. I'm like, now I'm the Toady. This is cool.
man. So what about the other guys in the band? What kind of shit do they do? Like how does it work?
Every,
How do
everybody's like pretty much musicians. BJ's a mechanic. Everybody's just kind of like a plug and play musician. Dom is general manager of a place in Sanford, and he like books all the talent. And he everybody comes through. Like if you come through Sanford, you're gonna play. If you come through Orlando, you're probably gonna play Sanford. If you're gonna play Sanford, you're probably gonna play the West End, and that's where Dom
Mhm.
books all the shows for. He's also the event coordinator for the city of Sanford. So I mean, there's Sanford's awesome right now. It's like the place to be. It's been the place to be for like 10 years.
Oh well. I think yeah, one of the I listened to the Tier 1 podcast with an army guy. I think he's out of Sanford and is it Delane, which is close or
Yeah.
somewhere? Yeah. So I've heard the name quite a bit, but yeah, so everybody's actually doing music adjacent. Do you ever do studio work for other bands?
Um, I've done it. Sometimes people would call me up and be like, "Hey man, can you sing on my album and give me a track?" I'll be like, "Oh, you got some money, I can do it." Like, wrap my head around it and do it. I'll do the best I can, But like, I like just it's kind of like what brings me back to like when what's his name? Tony Iommi or no, not Matola, yeah. I forget. Jimmy Iovine was his girlfriend was the chick from Fleetwood Mac, and I guess she was crazy, and he like locked her in the basement. It's like, look, Tom Petty's coming over tonight, so I can't have you up there messing with Tom Petty. He's so what's her name? The chick from Fleetwood Mac, the
Uh,
singer.
Stevie Nicks? No.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
So this is a funny story. So like, anyway, she like crawled her way out like one of the windows, and then when Jimmy went on break, she went in and Tom Petty's telling the story. And she's like, "Hey, you need to write me a song. We need to do a song." He's like, it'll be a hit. He's like, I need to write me a song, and that's kind of how it is. It's like I would love to get on your stuff, like, but that's just like time away from what I need to be working on over here.
Yeah. Although you do have
I'm,
some
I'm,
people,
I'm actually writing. I'm on three different albums right now, writing three different kinds of albums.
yeah, but a lot of people, you do see that kind of I've run across like RJ Ronquillo online. Um, maybe I don't know if Rhett Schultz is a studio musician. But I remember watching like Netflix had a documentary or something called Hired Guns that was pretty interesting, like about hired guitarists and people who go on tour, et
Right.
cetera, et cetera. But the reggae community seems more like swapping. Like I know Mike Visser, who sang for Frank Jordan, played for Filibuster, played bass for him when they went to Europe because they're
Right.
all from the Carmichael, Sacramento area. Um, or you see people I know, what was it, Ballyhoo's merch guy drove for Kyle Smith whenever Ballyhoo was taking a break, and I was like,
Yeah.
yeah. So a lot of swapping out, interchanging versus maybe the hired gun thing,
John
but
Godfrey was our merch guy during
hmm
that Pepper Bad Caddies tour. He's the actual the guy that got the video of us all playing with Fat Mike. So like he started with us doing merch,
hmm
and we met him in St. Thomas back in probably like 2000, 2001.
yeah,
We known him forever. He's like our little brother, and so like he did such a good job for merch that Mad Caddies called him up like, "Hey, can you do a Canada run for us?" And he was like, "Guys, I don't know how to tell you this, but I'm gonna go out with Mad Caddies just for a couple weeks, but I'll be back with you guys. So like, so
Mhm.
like he went out there and he was like, you know how much merch they sell, and he's telling us anyway. So then he'd go back out with us. He'd be off the road, and he'd go out like to Europe at the Mad Caddies, and then now he's their line tech. So like, okay, that's pretty cool, man. You're up there. He's like, yeah. He's like, then he's like going over like Russia or somewhere with Mad Caddies. He's like on stage playing like some of the instruments, and then like flash forward to now, and he's playing bass for Mad
Yeah,
Caddies.
he's killing it when
So
I
he's
saw
he's
him.
been with he's been with them for like over 20 years, and like same with us. Like he's been with us for like over 20 years. But like,
Man.
I have a laundry list of guys that because Full Sail is just up in Orlando.
Yeah.
So anytime we need a roadie or something, we go to Full Sail and we'd be like, "Hey man, you want to work for free?" They're like, "Hell yeah, we need experience. I got to put this degree to use." So like, we actually had educated fools that like went on as soon as they got off with us, would go on like bigger things. Emo, our old sound guy and tour manager, is like the monitor guy for Green Day and like Shania Twain and
Oh
stuff.
wow.
And Matt Harmon, who was our sound guy, tour manager, he's out with he's now the stage manager for no less or less than Jake.
Hmm.
He's like the kid who like gets with the Evo kid. Like so every like they go on to bigger and better things. And we stay in the background and just watch it all go. Man, it would be nice.
Or would it? I mean, it depends. I think they everything comes with its own set of challenges. I mean, I guess in a way too, that's what I was going to ask you about was I remember as a fan looking at your page probably years ago and seeing like your wife or something on a horse
Yeah.
doing some crazy stuff
Yeah.
and I was like, "Oh, okay." And then I'd asked you and you said she had something else, but I'm like, you kind of both have this artistic, endeavor, performance endeavor.
We're both in showbiz.
Yeah. But the thing is you kind of get to stay, if you had to tour in Europe and stuff, what's the longest you've been away from your wife?
Oh man. Back when we were like in like 2006, 2007, like in the massive days,
Uh-huh.
like we were our management kept us on the road for like we'd be doing an 8 week full national, have like a week off with Pepper. We have a week
Uh-huh.
off about 8 weeks for Slightly Stupid. And like it got to a point where we were doing like 250, 300 shows a year.
Wow.
And, you know, luckily my wife worked at Arabian Nights, which is kind of like medieval times, but
Hmm.
just horse based.
Yeah.
And, that kept her busy, or she's doing 3 shows a day, busy enough for like it was just a phone call. But like I always said, like, the best part about our marriage is like the part of it obviously being together, but our time apart.
Yeah.
Because right when she's about sick of my ass, I got to go on the road for like 6 weeks, and we come home. It's like, oh, I miss you so much.
Yeah, yeah, that is, you know, and that's kind of the thing is, in a way,
it doesn't
you know,
it doesn't work like that with everybody. I'm fortunate. I'm blessed.
yeah, and for having done it a long time, how long have you been here with your wife?
23 years the other
Yeah.
day.
So me and my wife, 20 years in April. And
Nice.
so
April what?
April 1. We call it
We're
April
we're
1.
we're 420, April 20th.
Oh, ours was we just know it as we went to a cook-off at Montgomery County Fair and we actually just went to it around our 20th anniversary. It was a couple of weekends ago in the fucking rain. It was miserable. It was muddy and I was like, "Don't go. We shouldn't go." And we went, kind of people pleasing. And it was a horrible, cold, wet, miserable experience. We just got my shoes clean like 3 weeks
Yeah,
later.
nice.
But, it is one of those things if you look back at 20 years and you go, I look at you kind of both as a band, as an individual musician, and then also in your partnership to another person who's kind of in a performative show business type of thing. It takes a lot of work. I mean, and especially like we have kids. So, do you have any children?
No, because she couldn't have done what she was doing, and I couldn't. I would never go on tour
Right.
and leave kids at home. That's just not fair
So
for
that was a
me. It's
choice.
not fair for her. Like so every 5 years or so, we'd be like, "You want kids?" Or it's like,
Yeah.
"No." And then every 5 years, it'd be like, hell no. After the third time, it's like, why don't we just get fixed?
Yeah, well, it's and that's kind of the thing is like we have a 23-year-old one who's about to be 22 and give birth, which
Wow,
in the
you're
next
gonna be a
week.
granddad.
Yeah, and I'm taking, let's see, fucking Sunday, Saturday, we leave out. I'm taking the 12-year-old. We're going to New York and DC for a school trip, and I'm the chaperone for a group of four girls. And so, um, my life has been more stay at home, kind of doing that. But, I'm trying to bring her into the podcast fold because I'm also like studying to be a death doula. And,
That's cool.
I want
That's
to,
admirable, man.
yeah, I want to incorporate people's legacy and their storytelling into the doula services because we did it for a 97-year-old veteran, but until he passed or transitioned. But it's kind of one of those things of, I know my great grandparents, like I've seen pictures and shit, but I don't know what they were about, who they were, how we got here. And podcasting is this form. It's a way to timestamp history and go, okay, um, you know, I want to bring my daughter into the fold. She goes to an art school. So I grew up in this small, probably the Kissimmee of East Texas, St. Cloud of East Texas, very small, rural place, more churches and banks than anything.
Yep.
And I didn't take my first art class till I was in ninth grade. And my daughter, fast forward all these years later, my daughter auditioned to go to an art school. It only goes to eighth grade. She's in sixth. But she's done everything I never fucking did as it relates to arts. And even when I got laid off, I had job opportunities elsewhere I didn't take because I was like, I'm not taking her from that. But once we get to high school, it's like, I want her to, I think, she does Canva, graphic design, all that kind of stuff. So there's no way between whether it's death doulaing, podcasting, I would like to take her on a trip and see all 50 states, meet people, see history, see music, and all that kind of stuff, and learn that way what the world is about as opposed to sitting in a classroom for fucking 4 years.
I think living in St. Cloud, that's for me, like I hear people's like attitudes that you figure out about a guy in St. Cloud, like just from the way he talks. It's like this guy's never been like 100 miles from St. Cloud.
Right.
And like I think about it, when I come back, like, we've played all 48 continental states.
Yeah.
Like, I've seen every damn city, and like they're all different, but they're all the same.
Yeah.
But like you get a pulse of every town. You kind of figure out which is the cool areas, which is the really shitty parts of America. Like,
Everywhere's got a Dixie Highway.
hey man, don't shit on Dixie now.
My roommate got arrested on Dixie Highway. That's why I know.
Who's never been arrested on Dixie? That's a short list.
Oh, I made it.
Yeah.
Luckily, by the skin of my teeth. But yeah, but it's connection to the people though. That's people are kind of all the same. I think like if we look at it, we all want to love and be loved and we all just are doing our best at the end of the day. I think, you're going to have your outliers, your assholes in every fucking town, every line of, you know, work, whatever it is. But I think in general, you know, how's that from your point of view as a community type artist? Do you see the community out there when you're traveling? Do you see the
Um,
togetherness more so than the divisiveness?
it all depends. Like, at a show, everybody's kind of like on the same page.
Mm-hmm.
When you're just like walking around in society, like walking around in general public, like, or walking to a Walmart, and you're either like nobody like looks twice at you, or people are like, "Who's this alien?"
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
I'm like, I'm just looking for the bathroom. I know they're back. I know right where it's at. Don't worry.
yeah.
We live in the RV out front.
Yeah, that's about how it is. Fucking, I know I Uber from Walmart all the time, and it's like, oh, just. But where else do you go where you can get literally everything from ponchos and fishing line to?
It's not our choice. It's
I
crap.
know. It just
It's
kind
just
of
like
is.
yeah. I mean, yeah, it's like going to a liquor store. It's got
Yeah.
to be close.
Yeah, what we've been stuck with.
Um, Let me see. What's one question I haven't asked that I should have?
Uh-huh. I don't know. I couldn't answer that one for you.
Okay. What about what what would you like to leave the world with? I call like the Men of the House podcast. I say, it's all about perspective. Show people you're not alone. Maybe if you can change the way you view something, you can put a positive spin on it. Um, do you have any words of advice or any techniques you've used to alchemize, or maybe a story that has turned out to be the best thing that's ever happened, but didn't seem like it at the time?
I would say don't be afraid of your own abilities, and don't be afraid to like express them, because, like you said, like the reggae, everybody wants to be sublime, and that's kind of what it is. Like most of 90% of the circuit is just once you sound like Sublime, you've made it. It's like, well, no, you
No.
have just sound like Sublime. Where are you in that? So like that's why like people don't they're like, oh, Supervillains are a ska band. Oh, Supervillains are a reggae band. Oh, they're a punk rock band. Like you can't put a finger on us. You can't
Yeah.
AI us. AI cannot make us up. And that's kind of like the goal of it because we take so many influences from so many people and we don't want to sound the same in every song. We want to follow St. Thomas,
Yeah.
which country song with lap steel, with Purgatory from Robots, which is just like the
Oh, I
most
love
hardcore gutturals and stuff in there. I mean,
fucking
like
Purgatory. I forget about
just
that
just
one.
to switch it up and like just to keep the audience on their toes so they don't get bored. And if you're in the crowd, because if I was in the crowd, I'd be going nuts. And if the crowd's going nuts, then we did our job.
Man. Yeah. I think about
Don't be afraid.
Purgatory.
Don't be afraid to be who you are because we had influences and then we just kind of discovered ourselves. We're like, why? What's going to separate us from that? It's like, well, not being that. It's like, we could, like I said, when we were young, like Sublime was kind of like what we that groove was that. Then we heard like the Mad Caddies. Then we heard like Bungle. Then we heard Fishbone. We're like, wow, you can actually get away with that. Like these guys are really good.
Mm.
It's not, it's still to this day, it's not going to make you the most money because it's not like pop friendly. It's not radio friendly. A lot of our songs are completely abstract, but like it's us. And at the end of the day, if I'm comfortable with it and I'm happy with it, then I did my job for myself, for my mental health.
And how do you factor money into the music equation
Just
in
make enough
term?
money where you can make it work. And when you get home, like keep playing. Like I play like 4 or 5 shows a week, man.
Yeah.
Either villains or by myself.
And
And
that's
like
kind of
I never
where,
stop, never sit on my hands. I'm always playing. I'm always and like I make money doing it, and it's great. I make tips and I make friends, and I get to play
yeah,
songs that I like. And
it's like that true musicianship. And that's what I love about having the opportunity to interview you, having been around for so long and gone through ups, downs, still out there doing it, but still a musician true at heart because, in this modern era, when you ask kids, they're like, oh, they want to be an influencer or a YouTuber. And I think back in the day, a lot of
they're so
people,
screwed. These
yeah,
kids.
a lot of people wanted to be a musician because it brought forth the similar thing of what kids want nowadays as an
Oh
influencer and
God,
or
if people
YouTuber.
still bought like tapes or CDs and stuff, we would be having this conversation. You couldn't get a hold of it. We would
Yeah,
be selling so many CDs, but now it's like, it's just everything's so available. You can just put a playlist. I'll give you a playlist series and like there it is.
yeah. But to see somebody who sticks in it for the love and you're still playing the true musicianship of it. And that's what I love. Do you mentor anyone? Do you give guitar lessons? Anyone that you can impart this be yourself knowledge?
I should, but I'm not the best teacher because I'm kind of a dick
Well,
when it comes to music. But like I don't have the patience for like beginners. I mean,
mhm.
I wouldn't mind like if somebody that kind of knows their ropes. I'd be like, all right, well check this out, and just like stylistically speaking, like
Right.
play country music like this, play reggae music like this, play punk rock like this. Like it, it's play. This is how you do upstrokes on ska. Like
Yeah.
and do it the right way, and like. go listen to these bands and listen to the way this guy plays this instrument. Like it's more guidance than like, talking notes and tablature and all that stuff.
Yeah, well, that's what I said. I mean, though, guidance is
Going back to
you have
some
experience in life guidance. That's what I'm talking about.
Well, going back to what you were just talking about kids, like I've always told people, like I don't have kids, I have songs, and those kids
Hmm.
are like birthed out of my. That's what I have to leave the world with. I mean,
Wow.
they don't, they don't have my last name on it, but it's like something that you can never take away. That it's all me, my DNA, and you can all, even when I'm dead and gone, you can still hear me. You can still listen to my guitar playing. You can still do that stuff. That's my legacy, and that's good enough for me as far as kids, because I can make a kid who turned out to be a fucking piece of shit and be like, that guy did it.
Dude, that's one of the most profound things I've ever heard. And the truth to that, like you said, the DNA of it, because, you know, music truly is, I think, a feeling. I mean, I started listening to it when I was 7. I was a sick child, so my parents got me a boombox with Foghat, ZZ Top, and the
Yeah,
Stray Cats when I was 6 years old, and I latched onto that because I couldn't go outside very much.
yeah,
And when the damn dual tape deck with the phonograph on top came out, my dad had a stack of records there for me to listen to, all their shit from the 70s and
yeah.
60s. And that's music kind of has always been my first love. Um, and so having the opportunity to go out and see it, I still enjoy it. I hadn't seen live music since November until I saw you guys, and it was a much needed release for me. It was my supercharger,
I get
and
it, man.
to get to meet somebody I've been following and listening to for a long time, and to get to interview you is actually just extra cool. So I certainly appreciate it. And
Hey, man, glad to be here. Glad we're friends. I'm glad we're friends.
man, some of the words you've said too, though, I think I think they're going to speak for themselves, especially as it relates to those are your children. And I think anybody who's on the fence about should they have kids, especially if they're musicians or artists of any sort.
My wife will
Um,
be over here cooking dinner, and I'll be sitting over here writing and just cursing because I can't get like one line right. I'm like, everything has to be perfect. I hate to say it, but like as a lyric writer, I'm a perfectionist.
mhm.
I'm a writer. I'm a poet first, but like everything has to be in, the iambic pentameter has to be correct. Everything has to like go in there perfectly, or I did a bad job. So like I'll be sitting over here, and I'll be thinking about it for days. Like I had writer's block for 4 years, and it kind of went away about 6 months ago. So it's like all these suppressed thoughts I had for songs are all just flooded right now. So I'm usually sitting right here on the couch with my guitar, with my lap steel, with whatever I have, and just like writing stuff. I've got like stacks of notebooks over
What
here
caused the
full of
writer's
lyrics.
block?
Probably medication.
Yeah,
When I switched my medication, it was like boom, instant right back.
man. Hmm. Man, that's got to be tough. That has got to be
I
tough.
didn't. I mean, I didn't realize that I hadn't wrote a song like for like 4 years. And Dom was like, hey, and people were like, hey, when the Villains coming out with a new album? I'm like, we just put drones out. I'm like, I looked online. I'm like, man, that was 2021. Like,
Yeah.
shit. Like, I,
Huh.
yeah, I talked to my doctor and I'm like, I need to get off this shit. So she switched me up to something else and, it is better for me and helped me
Yeah.
get right back in the game, if not more.
How do you mental health and music? How does that go for you?
It's kind of it goes both ways. Sometimes you drive yourself crazy with it, which was my kind of what I did. Sometimes a lifestyle just can make you go off the rails, and that's kind of what started with me. And yeah, I would say music to me is just my saving grace. It's like something that nobody can take away from me. That nobody can. I mean, I don't want to be like an ego guy, but like I hold myself to a standard. Like it's got to be this good or it's not coming out. And so like it's to me, it's just kind of like people like play video games. I've never played a video game. Like I would rather pick up a guitar and try to like that's my campaign, is writing the song and making it happen. And they're like, ha, like when you beat a video game, like I beat a video game, people are like, that's great.
Gay.
Like I'm like, but like what I do, I'm like, I did a thing. Check it out. Listen to this. Like,
Yeah. What's the so when I played guitar for like 10 years straight, and I used to play, I dated this girl, she played harp, and then we broke up. Kind of stopped playing. And now I've been with my wife for like 20 years, and my daughter's kind of stealing my guitars, and I'm hoping her
right.
she's in this age of like, yesterday she didn't want to go get her nails done. I'm like, yes, because you can't play fucking guitar with nails.
Nope.
And so I'm like, she's at that age where like you got to choose between nails or fucking playing guitar.
Right.
And but man, I had a fucking brain fart when I said something about I don't know where I was going with that.
Mental health.
Mental health. Still, I'm like blanking, blanking. Must be the big chief.
What, I mean, lockdown did it to me.
Oh, yes. Okay. I was gonna say 1 year for Lent, I gave up playing guitar for 40 days and
How
four
did you do
nights,
that?
and I gave up listening to music.
Whoa,
Um,
you're in the wilderness.
I only read and listened to talk radio
Oh,
for
that's
40 days.
all I listen to all day is AM sports radio. Like when I'm driving around town, my wife won't even let me put it on the radio. But like, I'm like, that's really what I want to hear.
Yeah, so I was
Like,
gonna ask you, what's the longest you've ever gone? Because you said, "Hey, I'm sitting here with my guitar." What's the longest you've gone without picking it up? And was it intentional?
I couldn't tell you because this never happened.
Okay.
I would have to have like a broken arm or something.
And then, yeah, then you might figure out something else to do, a different instrument to play.
I don't know. I'd go fishing.
That seems to be that's a big Central Florida theme.
Well, we catch big fish and we're the best at it. So,
Oh, really? What kind of fish do they have around there?
redfish, snook, flounder, sheephead,
Now,
specks,
are these on the
bass.
ocean side or are these lakeside?
Uh,
Okay.
I live on a creek that goes out to East Lake Toho. So,
Now, what
uh,
about alligators? You got alligators in that creek?
yes, sir. That's also one of my passions is to be an alligator hunter, certified by the state. Get permits every year.
Oh, wow. How long you
I
been doing
manage.
that?
'Cause I have a 6 acre property and they come on my property, so I got to manage them.
Man,
And I like to taxiderm the heads.
because I know what uh people used to like jet ski. What do they call it? Like if you alligator hop up and down the creek, like
Jet ski.
on a jet ski. You know the old school jet skis that
Oh yeah, like wave runner.
yeah, yeah, but the ones you stand on.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, this guy, he used to like West Palm Beach. We had creeks that fed out into the ocean, and I guess they would call it alligator hopping, like I guess running up the creek trying not to fall over, get eaten by an alligator and shit.
That sounds like right. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah, no thanks for me. But that was kind of the one thing about South Florida that was quite a bit different than here in Texas. We don't have the alligators that are everywhere.
Yeah.
We do have all the same poisonous snakes, I believe. And then I think you
Well,
guys
it's fun
probably
you
have.
say poisonous stuff. Me and BJ were on a hike because we're also hikers, and we got stuck by a Lone Star tick, and they're invasive. And now we have alpha gal syndrome. Me and BJ both, and we're allergic to all mammalian products. So anything a mammal makes or made out of mammal, we can't eat. So no red meat, no pork, no dairy, no butter, no pills that have mammal compounds in them, or like you go anaphylaxis.
I just heard, I was listening to a podcast yesterday where he was talking about, I actually heard that.
People are
Hearing,
starting to figure it out now. I mean, we've had it for 3 years. I had to educate my doctor on what it was because I was told about it from the park ranger.
how did you figure it out? How did it come about?
I went from like 175 pounds down to like 139. I couldn't eat anything. I couldn't figure out what was doing it. Like, I was just like on my same diet. throwing up every day, and I ended up going to my doctor, and she she thought it was Lyme disease. I go, it's not Lyme. I didn't get bit by a deer tick. I got bit by a Lone Star. And I was like, I had like 36 of them. We like walked right through a big nest. So
Oh
I got
shit.
hit by so many of them. And so did BJ. And, you know, if, some people have a, or like they're fume reactive. Like what gets me is like walking down like a racetrack or a Circle K, like they got like the sausages on the rollers.
Yeah.
I smell those, I'll start getting hives and start freaking out.
What?
Yeah, man.
It's that serious?
Oh yeah. I was sick. My mom brought me some vitamin C, and I had to started having a huge reaction. It takes 6 hours. I'm trying like, what did I eat today? I'm like, what did I put in my body today? I just went back to it. And I'm like, I took some vitamin C. I looked at the vitamin C. It's like ingredients: vitamin C, stearic acid, which comes from steers. So like you have to read the labels on everything you eat when you got alpha gal, AGS. It's
Holy fuck.
it's fucked, dude. It's no bueno. But like the thing that put it in perspective to me though is like you have like five new doctors, and one of them is a hematologist, and it's like Florida Cancer Institutes is where it's at. So like I'm sitting there waiting for like blood work, and I was looking around and like there's like a whole community of like cancer patients, and they're all like bald headed and like super happy that they have another day on
Right.
this earth, and there's a whole community of them, and they're all like super stoked. I'm like just happy, stoked on life. And I'm sitting over there like, and what's my fucking problem? I can't eat a fucking cheeseburger. Like, I'm like, that snapped me right out of like my depressiveness and the woe is me shit. Like,
Yeah.
you always have something way worse. And like, to me, I got alpha gal and I got to deal with it. It's really hard to deal with on the road, but we
I'm
do.
sure.
We manage. Yeah. Especially when every club's like, here's your burgers, here's your pizza. I'm like, I can't eat that.
Man.
I
But
haven't had a burger or pizza in 3 years.
I can imagine what it must have been like though, like that initial flare up you get, like you think you eat bad seafood, something like that, and then you're like, oh no. It takes what time? A few.
Takes 6 to 8 hours for reaction to show up. So like before I got diagnosed, I was still just like eating what I was eating. It'd be like say it was like a Burger King burger or something.
Right.
Like yeah, and like 6 hours later in the morning, I'm sitting there throwing up in my bathroom. My wife's like, "You do this every day. What are you doing?" I'm like, "Just I'm not doing anything different. I know what happened." And then it took 6 weeks for everything to start really showing up. And I think it happened at a festival up in Virginia Beach, and like we were playing with like Wiz Khalifa, Stephen Marley, Sublime was there.
Mm-hmm.
Um, all these like huge acts right behind me. I could not get out of my bunk. I was just throwing up everywhere, like just not interested in anything. And that was the catalyst. I was like, I got to go see a doctor. And I told her a blood panel for alpha gal, and it came back. She's like, "Oh yeah, you got that thing you were telling me about." So I was like, "Great."
What made you suspect it? You said you talked to the park ranger and
Park ranger friend of mine, she was a big girl,
mm-hmm.
and I saw this. I was talking to this chick at a show, and I was like, "Man, she's a really pretty girl." And she's like, "You don't even recognize me, do you?" I'm like, "No." She's like, "It's me," and told me her name, and I'm like, "Well," she's like, "I lost 100 pounds." I'm like, "How did you lose 100 pounds?" She was like, "I got bit by this tick called a Lone Star, and I have alpha gal, and I'm allergic to all red meat and mammal products." And she told me about that about 6 months before because she knew that we were hikers and that we trying to cross the Florida Trail and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, "Yeah, you gotta look out for those ticks." And we didn't even think about it. Like I'm making fun of it like backstage of the band. I'm like, "Oh, my tick bites, tick wounds." And then Tom's like,
Yeah.
"You're so gross. She's a swamp rat." I'm like, "Oh, shut up, man. So I'll give you a tick bite." And
Mm-hmm.
then like we're laughing about it until it actually showed up. And, oh my God, now we have this disease.
And what are,
There
what
we
are,
are.
what's the prognosis of it? Are they going to come out with anything that can cure it?
No, I don't think
Oh,
they ever.
yeah.
I'll be dead. I'll be dead and gone by the time those studies are done.
Shit. Who was it? I think it was Joe Rogan said Evan Hafer maybe has it from Black Rifle Coffee Company, the guy who founded that. Got bit
Because a
by it.
lot of a lot of guys that like hunt for turkeys, they're on their bellies
Mm-hmm.
going through the woods, and it's an
Mm.
easy way to get ticks.
Is there turkeys over there in Florida?
Dude, I'm texting them too. I'm texting those guys too, man.
Man, I never saw wild turkeys till I went to
Oh, dude, I've got
Kansas.
probably 12 in my property right now.
I never saw any when I was in Florida, but of course I spent more of my time in the Boca Fort Lauderdale area. Probably saw
Yeah.
more tracksuits and iguanas
Trust me,
than
there's
a
there's turkeys down there, but they're two-legged dragons.
jive turkeys
Yeah, dude.
on the other side of Dixie Highway.
Yeah.
Oh, on the 101. That's what yeah, my roommate, the one that played the shoegazing. I was like, why don't you go over to the blues bar and sit in on the open mic night at the back
Oh, it's like
room?
when I first started playing at the Cracker House in St. Cloud. They're like,
Uh,
I'll walk in there with dreads down on the bottom, like back of my calves. They're like, what in the hell is this fucking guy? And go up there, and there's a Confederate flag on the stage. Just bring my guitar up, set up my shit. There's like chicken wire for the fucking shit. I
yeah.
start and I start playing country music. And they're like, holy fuck, that dude sounds like Hank Williams Jr. I'm like, what?
Any banjo or mandolin?
Yeah, there you go.
Both? Do you play banjo?
Yeah.
Yeah.
On my country record, I play banjo up and down on it.
Okay. And do you play any horns?
I played sax in high school and middle school.
Holy shit. Damn. So
I played in drum line with Dom.
and the drum line.
Yep.
I think that's about all that my daughter's art school has. They have a drum line. I don't know that they do woodwinds and all that. Um, but actually, I worked for a music store that we did the whole 9 yards from guitars. The guy who I worked with that played the lap steel, we actually did where we would go and sell and rent instruments to people taking sax and all that, in school. And then at the summertime, we would go pick up. We had contracts with certain schools to go pick up all their woodwinds and brass instruments, clean them, service
Yep.
them, and then some of them were ours. And so that was kind of wild, but it was kind of cool because you also got exposed to. We had a guy in there who was a luthier and repaired guitars, um, violas, cellos, and did
Right.
all the woodwork and stuff like that. And I was like, that's pretty cool to kind of see because you would never guess it in this small little music store in kind of in Conroe, Texas. And
Yeah.
yeah, this
Like
is
I said, that guy that schooled me last night, the pedal steel guy. I go there, he's like, well, after I played him some stuff, he's like, well, let me show you some of the stuff that I've been working on. And he goes in there and it takes him back to his analog recording station. It was like going back, it looked like a 1998 studio, like aerial slide faders and all that stuff. And he puts this record on. And it's like like oh banjo and some mandolins and some fiddle. He's like, all these are me. I'm like, what? Like pedal steel, lap steel. I start looking around the room like, yeah, he's got fiddles and he's got mandolins. But this guy, I called by the guy who owns the guitar shop who I've been taking guitar lessons since I was 6. He turned me on to this guy, and I called him on the way back. I'm like, that dude is the boss, man. I'm like, that's what I'm gonna be when I'm 75. Is that dude like, well, I hate to toot my own horn, but check this out. Like,
well, but that's kind of that what I'm talking
I
about,
was
like
blowing the hell away, dude.
true musicianship. Now, are people you said he had like total analog setup. What are people going nowadays? Because you have streaming, which is this whole digital thing. And in terms of recording, how has that changed? And do you see people having this kind of desire, like my daughter wanted a fucking record player, like people going backwards, back to old
Yeah,
sounds?
nobody's buying CDs. They're buying vinyl because vinyl sounds the best. Vinyl's something. It's like what Dan, our producer, says. It's like having a CD. It's like when I miss CDs, so I have lyric sheets and stuff, so I can read what the hell this guy's mumbling, and like trying to like read that. It's like now you have vinyl. It's just something you can hold in your hand. It makes you feel good.
Yeah.
It's just cool. Like rather than streaming, you're like the kids growing up now. They don't hear
No, it used to be back
hear
in the
just the
day.
next song. Like
Yeah.
don't even
Back
know
in
who the
the
band
day,
is.
even getting a CD, remember when they came in the long boxes and
Sure.
then they shifted them out to just the CD without the long box? But, it was a whole experience actually going to Hastings or was it Peaches in South Florida?
Remember the art? We got to release our album at Virgin Megastore in downtown Disney. It was a
Mm,
big fucking deal because that was like the place. And like, then we saw it close down after it went consolidate. There was only like a little thing of CDs there. They're selling video games, and they had to close it down.
man. Yeah, that whole thing, like half price books is probably might be the closest thing that they're carrying vinyl and CDs and whatnot.
Yeah,
But it was kind of a whole like experience to get an album. Um, I know back in
makes you
those
feel.
days.
You can feel the art. You can see it. It's something you can hold in your hand. It's a physical thing rather than just an audio thing.
We would actually go get a new album, my roommate and I, and we would put it on. We would black out the room, put on the lights, and smoke a J and listen to the album start to finish every time we got a new album, just to see what it was like, you
Yep.
know. And
And I'm an album guy. Like I'm I got to hear the whole band. I got to hear like the 14 songs. You know.
yeah, I'm kind of getting into. My daughter wanted a record player, and then my wife had found one. I got one kind of behind me, and I'm like, well, I have a few like old Blind Melon vinyls and stuff my buddy got me, and now I got the Massive album, and so I'm like,
There
I
you
think
go.
I'm gonna start getting into, a few pieces that my daughter can have when I'm gone, because I mean,
Sure.
it's all mostly for her, like any of the signed guitars, drumsticks, all
I
the
got all
kind
my
of shit.
parents' vinyls. You know.
Oh yeah, what is that
Yeah. So like,
collection like?
shit, man. That's all they had back in the day. It's deep as you can imagine. You know. It's like my tape decks. You know, like my tape collection. It's like all your
Yeah.
baseball cards. You know.
How are you do you go through them quite a bit? Like
Oh yeah, I'm like, oh, Frank Zappa, Frank Zappa, Frank Zappa, Frank Zappa, Frank Zappa. Yeah, yeah.
now
I
how do
just
you
what I take off there today. I got the man from Utopia and Waka Chewaka from Frank Zappa. I was like, yeah.
what were your parents like? How did they influence you?
Oh, they're awesome, man. They're hippies. They're
Yeah.
the best. They've been married for like 56 years.
How did
They're
they
awesome.
make it? How did they make it to Florida, where you're at?
They they're natives. They're from
Really?
here. Yeah.
Huh.
Not necessarily like they came here when they were kids, but like when Disney was being born, but
Yeah.
before that
So
was
did they
built.
work at Disney?
No, never. None of us has ever worked for Disney. They were both teachers.
It's kind of one of what did they teach?
My dad was like in administration, and my mom was she taught like emotionally handicapped people with special needs and stuff.
Okay. Yeah, so you
They're both
definitely
retired educators from Osceola County.
had an interesting, so you definitely had a perspective, I'm sure, from your
I'm
mom.
the only one in my family who's not a teacher, and I'm like, I'm just a different kind of teacher.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
like, I'm not book smart, I'm street smart, and this is how you do it.
How you siblings?
I'm a sister, and she's the head of the psych department over at USF.
Of now in an educator sort of sense, yeah.
Yeah,
Because I come from a hospital background, so you say psych department, I'm thinking psych holds and
no, psychology.
okay, yeah. Is that University of Southern Florida? Is that in Tampa or UCF in Orlando?
No, USF. They're the UCF's rival.
Oh, which one's USF? Where's that one at?
It's in Tampa.
Okay, I thought so.
Well, I hope you enjoyed that interview. Given it's the last week of school and summer's upon us, I'm hope to be resuming more interviews. So, make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss any interviews, as well as my Unfiltered Friday solo rants. I'm also trying to grow the YouTube channel, so please head on over, hit subscribe, and if any of your friends or family aren't subscribed, send them on over so they can both visually see the podcast and the audio version also uploads to YouTube. That way, if any platform's down, you can always head on over to YouTube. So, help me grow this organically. And while you're out there, always remember to go out and be the person that you want to meet. Peace.
Let go.